Good morning, traders. It's 10:35 on Wednesday, the 12th of December, and boy, have we had some movement in the market this week, especially with pound pairs. I'll get to that in a minute, but for now, let me start on Aussie dollar as always. So here on the weekly time frame, you can see that we've popped back up to retest the moving averages, and whilst we watch price around this region, because I did say that we could see price up at the 0.7250, we will be looking for reversals to head further downside. Straight down onto the daily time frame, and you can see there we had that break of the uptrend, and then this week we've been slowly edging higher, and now I've drawn on this this range, which you'll see better in a minute on the lower time frames. So you can see that we had this inverted hammer here, which was a sign of a potential reversal. Despite the fact that it did reject the trend line, price continued to push upside. We've been having these upside wicks, which does show sensitivity towards the upside, and today we've rejected the exponential moving average. However, you can just see that today's highs have just broken the previous 2 days' highs. So we're watching around this area because we could just push slightly higher towards the top of this range once more. Overall, we are bearish here though. So if we take a look on the 8-hour time frame, you can see that price is responding to the exponential moving average quite well, but then at the same time, we do have this 0.7200 support level, which is also holding price. We have this counter trend, which price is currently within at the moment, and so we'll be looking for price to make an attempt once more at this region. If the moving averages do continue to hold price down, then we'll need to see a break of this 0.7200 region in line with the break of the counter trend to follow price down to our targets at 0.7150 and potentially beyond. If we take this range and duplicate it, like that, you can see that lines up quite nicely with targets around 0.7125. Onto the 4-hour time frame, you can see the last H4 candle closed as a hammer on top of the moving averages, which does suggest that we may be seeing price push upside. We've been creating these discrete higher highs and higher lows. So this last H4 candle created the most recent higher low with a rejection from the 0.7200. So now we'll be looking to form a higher high around the top of this range and potentially the 0.7250 weekly resistance. As I say though, looking for the market to turn at this point, potentially getting an entry into a short position around here. So USDCAD, on the weekly time frame, you can see that we're still struggling at this key supply area. The price has spiked through this week, but at the moment is hesitant and is failing to hold above that level. Let's get rid of this. So on the daily time frame, we failed to break above previous highs after finding support on the exponential moving average, and yesterday didn't have a massive amount of movement in the market, but we closed as a spinning top candle right at the top of this supply zone. So now I do expect to see further downside into today's session, potentially to test the exponential moving average. Should we get a break of that, I can see price quite easily rolling over towards a 1.3250. However, if we see price find support on the exponential moving average, then we will be moving up towards this 1.3 500 monthly resistance, which is also in line with the Fibonacci extension targets. Bearing in mind this region though of supply, if we do push towards that monthly level, then we could be seeing a continuation of the rally upside through that level. So now onto the 8-hour time frame, and you can see that we are creating a higher low here with the rejection from this refined Fibonacci. However, price has failed to break past the 0% and has now formed a lower high. So we're attempting to break the exponential moving average here on the 8-hour time frame, currently sitting on that, before revisiting 0.3250. On the 4-hour time frame, you can see that price is just below, within that moving average zone. So we may actually see a move down towards the daily moving average here before coming back up to retest these moving averages, which on these lower time frames you can see have crossed over, and then heading down towards 1.3250. So GBPUSD, start on the weekly time frame. As I mentioned at the start of the video, we've seen massive movement in the market this week from pound, and obviously that's down to Theresa May postponing the vote in Parliament on Tuesday. Up until that point, we were looking, all investors were looking on to that event, but then obviously on Monday, Theresa May called that off, which brought much more uncertainty into the market moving forward, and doubts to whether a Brexit deal would finally be determined. Now, today, we've heard that there is a vote going ahead of no confidence against Theresa May, which could mean that Theresa May is forced to step down from her position. If this is the case, then we are seeing further uncertainty in the market and therefore further downside. We already saw a 250 pip move in the market this week, and as you'll see shortly, that was just in one day. So if Theresa May is essentially sacked from her position as Prime Minister, then it could push the whole Brexit proceedings back significantly, and even postpone Article 50 coming into effect. So there is the potential for massive downside here. We could be seeing all-time lows at an attempt at the 1.2 level. For now, obviously, we're sitting on the 1.25 major support, and you'll see that price has responded to this quite well. Here is the decision to postpone the Parliament vote, found support and pulled back off the 1.25, which continued into yesterday's candle. We came back up to test the 1.2620 in line with the exponential moving average before falling back to that level. As you can see, we found support there, and are now attempting to pull back. So we may see further consolidation within this range depending on the outcome of the vote of no confidence later today. But as I say, if Theresa May is voted out, then we could easily see this market plummet back through the 1.2500. Onto the 8-hour, you can see the volatility caused by this morning's announcement caused a spike back through these previous lows before now finding support and continuing the retracement upside. So we've had this lower low, a lower high, a lower low, could be forming a lower high around this exponential moving average and potentially 1.2620. At the moment, the 1.2620 is looking like a bit of a stretch as we hesitate at the 4-hour moving average. We may see price push back down towards this 1.2500. Overall though, I am looking for a lower low to then take price lower. Just get up USDJPY, seems to have disappeared. Right, there we go, onto the weekly time frame. So we've actually had a lot of strength in the market this week in USDJPY, which is somewhat unexpected. However, we are still choppy. You can see up and down, largely below this 1.114 level. Obviously finding support on the moving averages here. But while we approach last week's open, there is potential for reversals. You can see that the strength at the start of this week took price back above the moving averages. However, we failed to really continue this momentum into yesterday. Price fell back down to retest the 113 daily level and then closed as a spinning top. So we could be seeing a hanging man here with price coming back down towards this 113 level today as a rejection from this refined zone. However, at the moment, we are just trading within that region. So we'll be looking down towards these smaller time frames to get a better perspective on this. Now, if you've been following on social media and in our Telegram group, you'll know that we are looking for a spike above these highs to take out prior stops. We've now had that, and as we're seeing these spikes towards the upside, it's obvious the market is hesitating somewhat. So although the moving averages are crossed to the upside, remember that we had this low here, which did just about break the prior lows, and we've also had this lower high over here. So although I just want to say about this low here, we've had a lower low. However, this retracement could consider this as a double bottom. So now we are just watching price within this region. As I say, looking at these smaller time frames, we may be seeing price pull back to this exponential moving average before making one final attempt at the upside and then falling, or potentially we could just see a straight reversal from here to head downside. Overall, I'm looking towards the 112 weekly support to form a new lower low. So on the 4-hour time frame, much the same. If I take you down to the 2-hour and the 1-hour, you can see how price is struggling at this region. We may just about see price roll over, the moving averages cross over, and fall down towards 113.20, and much the same as in USDCAD. That is the region of a test of the moving averages. So down to 113.20, then we could see a retest of this region in line with the test of the moving averages before falling lower. So potentially something that looks like this, down to, well, much lower than that, but initially 113 before then 112.30, and then all the way down to 112 weekly support. So hope that all makes sense to you guys. Any questions, don't hesitate to ask on the website, on social media. But yeah, other than that, have a great rest of the week and a fantastic weekend. See you next week.